This week, we talked about the Department of Corrections and its importance and its role in the whole criminal justice system. We also learned about the prison problems in the U.S. today, trends in U.S. corrections, and also private prisons within the United States. Okay, one of the first things we looked at this week was the trends that we see within our corrections department. Now, we were able to look at graphs, at scales, at all the statistics laid out. What we can find is that from literally 1925 up to 2015, the rates of prisoners has gone up significantly. It also shows that the United States has almost double the amount of the next lowest of prisoners. Basically, what this is saying is that the United States clearly has an issue with their corrections department. We are having way too many prisoners, which is also causing us to have prison overcrowding, which is just making it a harder task to take care of our prisoners the way that they need to be to keep our human rights up. Next, we read an article called The Prison Problem. Now, this article discussed many problems that we face with our prisons today. But one thing that it mainly talked about was the fact that after prison, there is no plan for the released people. It's just all on their luck. Really, if you think about it, the U.S. doesn't really like hiring past people who have felonies or anything like that, any prison experience, which makes it just harder for them to not go back to prison. I think part of this article was written to really explain how because we don't really allow second chances here in the United States, it's really just making it harder for someone to even try to be good. It doesn't give them a chance. And I think that, for me personally, is also one of the biggest problems I have with the corrections department, is that we don't really care about rehabilitation. We care about taking care of the job as it goes. And I think that we need to change that. We need to be able to give these people second chances and show that, some people do bad things and then they can be good people. They can become outstanding citizens and actually help our nation rather than make it worse again. And yeah, so again, this article really goes into depth about that and talks about why it is important for us to put money into prisons and why it's good for us to treat our prisoners right, because at the end of the day, they can become better citizens. This week's discussion, we focus on contemporary corrections problems. Now, I chose to write about overcrowding in prisons. This is something that I'm very passionate about in real life, but I also found an article that also supports some of my ideas. Now, overcrowding brings a lot of issues to the prisoners themselves. It makes it harder for their health and safety to be good. It also can lead to more violence within the prison and for more chances of people literally becoming insane. There are only two solutions that the corrections thinks they have, which is make more prisons or make more early release programs. Now, I'm not saying that I have the solution, but clearly neither of these are working. But overall, I think we need to focus on this. I think we need to put research into what could actually help prison life, whether that's not putting in like nonviolent charges and making their sentences shorter, or what, because the more difficult we make it in prison for these prisoners, the more difficult we're making it for them to get out of prison and stay out of prison. And I think at the end of the day, we shouldn't want people to go to prison. We shouldn't want them to reoffend. We shouldn't want them doing this anymore. But in reality, we're not really doing anything to help them. In the article I found, it also said that, here's a direct quote, it becomes harder to manage prisons effectively as overcrowding puts pressure on resources and reduces the space available to provide educational and rehabilitative programs. I just think that overall we need to find a solution to fix the overcrowding of prisons, and that would help the Department of Corrections greatly.